He says that he's amazed. He says, I don't see how it's possible, quote, I don't see how it's possible to say that one recognizes the validity of the council, though it amazes me that a Catholic might presume not to do so, and at the same time not accept the liturgical reform. Well, Francis, let's think about this. The Novus Ordo and the revision of the breviary and the revision of the other 6 sacraments, that wasn't done at Vatican II. All right, Vatican II ended in 1965. The Novus Ordo Mass was promulgated in 1969 and went into effect in 1970. You have a 4-year gap there. It's true, Paul VI, who ended the council, is the same pope who promulgated the Novus Ordo, so there is all this organic connection. But if you read Sacrosanctum Concilium and you randomly attend 10 Novus Ordo Masses, so you get kind of a good varied data set, you're going to realize that that data set does not conform to Sacrosanctum Concilium. And by the way, I'm not even arguing that it should. I'm saying we should go back to the traditional Roman Rite before 1955. That's my personal dad on a webcam position. So there's some slippage between Sacrosanctum Concilium, but there is a connection. The introduction of vernacular and the revision of rites is definitely presumed by Sacrosanctum Concilium at Vatican II. He also says, and here's where it's a little bit, this is where what Lefebvre says and what the Society of St. Pius X says comes into play here. He says that just as Sacrosanctum Concilium has an ecclesiological relationship to the liturgy, that ecclesiological relationship is based on the description of the church in Lumen Gentium, where the Catholic Church subsists in the church. A major shift in the understanding of the Catholic Church happened in Lumen Gentium in Vatican II. So Francis is making a bold statement here. He's saying just as Lumen Gentium broadens what we know as the Catholic Church, and then that broadening, that latitude that's taken by Lumen Gentium, Sacrosanctum Concilium and the Novus Ordo sort of fulfill that. So they go together. Then he says, for this reason, as I have already expressed in my letter to all the bishops, I have felt it my duty to affirm, quote, the liturgical books promulgated by St. Paul VI and St. John Paul II in conformity with the decrees of Vatican Council II are the unique expression of the lex orandi of the Roman Rite. That's a quote from Traditionis Custodes. By the way, this is why Francis canonized Paul VI and why he canonized John Paul II. Francis wants to canonize the council, and he wants to canonize the Novus Ordo, and he wants to canonize Lumen Gentium. He wants to canonize Dignitatis Humanae and Sacrosanctum Concilium. My question as a traditionalist is, he says the liturgical books promulgated by St. Paul VI and John Paul II in conformity with the decrees of Vatican II are the unique expression of the Roman Rite. Why not the books that were essentially unchanged century after century by all the popes before Vatican II? Why don't they get to play in this game? Why is there a complete reset in 1969, 1970? And every pope before that and their liturgical books are swept away? Gone? Restricted? You can actually be punished in the Catholic Church by using them and observing them? How is this possible? I mean, imagine going to our Eastern friends, Eastern Catholics, and saying, hey, you know what? We did a remix on the Divine Liturgy of St. John Chrysostom. You're going to love it. And from now on, you can never use that one that you've been using for 1,500 years. And they're like, well, no. That's our liturgy. Like, yeah, I know that was your liturgy, but we did a remix on the divine liturgy, and you have to use that now. That is now because I, as the Pope, am making a fiat statement. Let it be written, so let it be done. You can't use the liturgy you've always used. Now there's a new, unique expression of the Eastern Rite churches, and it's this liturgy that I'm handing you right now. And if you use the old one, you're going to get suspended and maybe deposed. Have a nice day. Welcome to my new Catholic Church. That is what is happening in the Roman Church, in the Roman Rite. The Roman Rite is as old or older than many of the Eastern rites. People are going to want to debate me on that. But we find core quotations straight out of what we say in the Latin Mass already in Pope Damasus, who's in the late 300s. St. Ambrose of Milan, same time period. It's there. It's happening. And then our last statement that we're going to go over today. The Holy Pontiffs, Saint Paul VI and Saint John Paul II, approving the Reformed liturgical books in Ex Decreto Sacrosancti Ecumenici Concilii Vaticani II, have guaranteed the fidelity of the reform of the council. So here, this is why he canonized Paul VI and John Paul II. Had nothing to do with Poland or communism or anything like that. It had to do, he needs to canonize the liturgical books. How do you canonize the liturgical books? You say, well, the two popes who approved them, they're both saints. Ergo, we can't get rid of these books. And I say, let's look at it on the merits of truth. I don't care who promulgated the books. John Paul II kissed a book called the Quran. I don't want the Quran read in my Mass. People make mistakes. If you can make a mistake and kiss a Quran, you can make a mistake on the liturgy. That's just that.